Okay, so welcome to EE 42 and 100. How many of you have signed up for EE 42? And 100? Okay, it's roughly an even mix. So we have 230 odd students in the class. That's a lot. Okay? We will try our best between us, and I'm going to tell you what the ground rules are in a bit, to make this class interesting. For how many of you is this the first EE class that you're taking? Okay. How many of you have taken some other EE class before? I should have asked that question, I guess. Okay. All right. So we will try to make this interesting. My goal in this exercise is to do two things. One is to teach you the course material, and two is to make you think that EE is actually reasonably cool. Okay? And hopefully that'll convince some of you, probably not all of you, to take some more EE courses. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Now, let's start. Who am I? I'm Devic Subramanian. I'm a professor in electrical engineering. My office is in the new building, which is Satarja Dai Hall. It's been open for about a year now. And it's 513. That's on the 5th floor. It's kind of difficult to find my office, which is nice. You get out of the elevator, you go to the right, and then you head down the hall. Okay? And there's a few faculty offices in a corner there that nobody knows about. One of those is mine. Okay? And I'm generally around a fair amount this semester, though I do tend to travel quite a bit. But I will try to be available whenever you need to see me. You're here, so you know when lectures are. By the way, I apologize in advance. I know taking classes on a Friday afternoon is not ideal. I did not schedule this. I would have scheduled 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay? That is my favorite lecture time. But anyway, we'll live with this. This is fine. All right. My office hours will be Thursdays 2 to 3 and Fridays 3 to 4. Okay? If you're not able to make those office hours, you can always email me for an appointment. So the way to do that is the following. Go to that web page, and it has my schedule on there. So don't email me before you look at that. Don't say, can I meet with you? My answer will be yes, but when? Okay? What I want you to do is go to this web page, look at my schedule, find a couple of slots that appear to be free, and then email me and say, are you available in those times? Can I set up a meeting? And assuming those slots are actually free, I will respond and say yes, and then I will wait in my office to meet with you. Okay? Periodically, you will find, not for office hours, so office hours I'll actually stay in my office, but periodically if you come to meet with me, there may be notes on my door saying I'm down in the coffee shop. Okay? And if that's lucky for you, because then I'll buy you a free coffee if you come downstairs. Okay? All right. So that's the general outline. We have several TAs for this course, but we don't have enough. So I am right now in the process of fighting with the department to get more TAs. We will get them, but we have a few of them here. There's going to be some consequences based on the number of TAs we have. So with the TAs mind standing up, and I will just point them out briefly. So 1, 2, Minhee's in the back. Okay. So we have Kyle in front, Jake over there, Michael there, Minhee in the back. We have an additional 3 TAs assigned right now who are not here, and I'm trying to get 2 more. Now, what does that mean? We do not have enough TAs for all the labs that were put on the schedule. We will not, even if they gave us the 2 more TAs I'm asking for. So we are going to have to do 2 things. First, for those of you who are signed up for the Monday or Friday 8 a.m. labs, we're going to cancel those labs. And I'm going to roll them into the Wednesday lab. I'm going to ask the department to just dump them in automatically. So you don't have to do anything. You'll get dumped into the Wednesday lab. If Wednesday doesn't work for you, and that's the Wednesday 8 a.m. lab, if that doesn't work for you, then you should just manually go and change your lab, pick another lab. The second, the Thursday 8 a.m. lab will be canceled. Okay? So you're going to have to go find another lab. I apologize. Unfortunately, there's just constrained resources. We don't have enough TAs to run all the labs. Okay? If that's a problem and you have some creative way of solving that problem, come talk to me. I'm happy to learn about it. Okay? But as of right now, our plan is Monday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. labs are gone. Okay? All right. So the TAs generally won't attend class, but they will have their discussion, and they will have the labs. Okay? And they will answer email, and they will monitor the B-Space discussion lists, and so on and so forth. Okay. How many of you are how many of you are signed up for 42 but are not taking 43? Okay, that's too bad. So this is our project, okay? So we've changed the labs a lot this year. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start out the labs. They're brand new labs. Most of them are completely new. Some are partially new. And we've got a whole new framework. The idea was to make labs that you would find fun. So you're going to start out by learning some basic skills, like learning how to use a soldering iron without burning yourselves, things like that. And then you are going to start working on modules which will ultimately build to a project. And the project is actually really cool. You are going to build an EEG. You know what an EEG is? An EEG is used, you put probes in your temples, and you use it to read brain waves. And we are going to try to set up an EEG whereby using your optical nerves, so essentially by moving your eyes around, you can move the cursor on a screen. Okay? So, and the final test on the project is going to be the professor for EE40, Michelle Maharbiz, and I will be your test subjects. We will put the EEGs that you make on us, okay? And we will see if we can make cursors move. And if you kill us, there's no final exam, right? So it's pretty easy. All right, so that's the plan. Now, we had talked about a few other options. I'm going to ask you some questions, not for this year, but for next year. So one of the projects I had proposed, which got shot down for good reason, was to make cell phone chargers. So you know that your cell phone right now, you plug in the little charger. It turns out it's relatively trivial to make a little plate that attaches to the back of your cell phone, so you just put it on a table and it charges off a pad, okay? We were going to do that, but we were advised not to do it because we were worried that you guys would sue us if you blew up your cell phones, okay? Does that sound like an interesting project? Would that be something cool? Yeah. More useful, right? So, okay, there'll be a few others that I have that every now and then I'm going to talk about. As you work through it, I'll get feedback from you, and next year we'll change the projects, okay? Each year we're going to change the projects. Yes, question? I think there's space. Okay, so yeah, you're just looking forward to shocking me at the end of the lab, but no, at the end of the final. But no, I believe there's lab space still available. Okay. All right. Okay. So what's the textbook? We changed the textbook this year. The textbook we're using is by Ulabi and Maharbiz. Professor Maharbiz is in our department. He moved here from Michigan. So we've changed the text for several reasons. Frankly, the two main reasons I changed the text was I like the examples that are in the text. It has a bunch of real-world examples that I think are kind of interesting. I'm not going to ask you questions about those on the tests, but it's interesting for you to read. Also, I know you are spending a lot of money on textbooks, and this is the cheapest EE40 level text I could find. Okay? So it's relatively cheap. The company that publishes it is actually not making much money on it because what they want to do is get you to buy the text. And then they also make software and hardware kits, and then they want to try to get you to buy those. Okay, but you're not going to do that, so you get the textbook relatively cheap. Okay, now, the other advantage for me and also for you is we've therefore been able to align EE40 and EE42. Okay, so the lectures will run essentially in parallel. This lecture, is the webcasting guys here? Is anybody here who's handling webcasting? They are theoretically webcasting this course, okay? I have no idea what that means. But what that means is if you miss the course, you should be able to make it up. Also, if you miss it, you can probably sneak into the EE40 lecture and essentially be on the same page, okay? And every now and then we may trade off just for variety and for scheduling reasons. It's possible that sometimes I may teach 40 for Michelle, or Michelle may teach 42 for me. That may happen periodically. Probably not too much, but it might happen. And really, from an aesthetic perspective, there's no reason for us to have separate classes for 40 and 42 and 100. I mean, The reason you're not in 40 is because you're not indicating electronics as your primary interest, but that doesn't mean you're not just as capable of doing it as students taking 40, because you're all intro students. So it's sort of silly that we have 3 separate courses. Now 42 and 100 are essentially tied to each other. They have separate curves for grading, and that's fine. But really, we'd like to get all 3 aligned and just have separate curves for each of the courses. Yes, question? Same text, same notes, same syllabus, same project, same labs. 100, 40, 42. All the same. Okay? And we're hoping that we can get things merged even better than that. All right. So if you have the text, that's great. If you don't, I do recommend getting it. You're going to find as I go through the notes, my notes are intentionally sparse. What I mean is I don't give you all the information in the notes. 2 reasons. 1, I want you to actually take some notes yourselves, so you'll pay attention. And 2, I think the text is actually really well written, and you'll benefit from reading it. Some of the examples are really interesting. Okay. As far as the course is concerned, we will follow the context, the text pretty much start to finish. Okay? So if you want a syllabus, that's the syllabus. We're going to pretty much follow the text. As I said, I will be giving you notes. The notes are your primary guide. Just to give you some perspective. When I make your exam questions, I'm not even going to look at the textbook. Okay? I will make your exam questions from my notes. So your notes are your primary guide, but they are intentionally sparse, which means I will say things in class that are not on the notes. And that's still fair game for the final or for the tests. Okay? So it's your responsibility to be in class or watch the webcasts. Okay. Now, this is a reasonable time. It's 4 o'clock. You know, it's not like an 8 o'clock in the morning class. You know, and you'll find that I'm pretty good at keeping you guys awake because I'll start throwing stuff at you if you go to sleep. Okay? So you know, we'll keep each other interested. All right. Now, EE 100 is, of course, is one part of this course, and this is how it breaks down. 15% homework, 40% tests. The tests will be about once a month. I believe in a lot of tests for the following reason. 2 reasons. 1, it allows me to see how you're doing. And so I can adjust to, if I find none of you get it, I can try